Hello and a warm welcome to Federal's special program, Capital Beat. As we are inching closer towards the 2024 elections, claims by BJP of winning 400 plus seats are becoming louder. Whether it is rallies or it is public meetings, you can hear Prime Minister Narendra Modi sounding very, very confident that he's confident of winning 370 seats for BJP and 400 plus seats for the NDA. But there is a groundswell of sentiment which is against the price rise, inflation, the atmospherics of hatred, and not to miss out, the electoral bonds verdict which came out, where BJP is seen as a party which is allegedly very, very corrupt. Now, is BJP exposed as far as the general voter is concerned? Do the silent voters who've not made up their minds still hold the key for Battle 2024? And then the biggest question, which way is this battle of 2024 heading forward to? Joining me now is author, columnist, someone who's an economist, social commentator, also a political commentator, Prem Shankar Jha joining us. So thank you so much for joining. And these claims which are made by Prime Minister Narendra Modi that, BJP will win 370 seats, or rather more than 370 seats, and NDA is in a position to win 400 plus seats. Now, everybody is baffled that from where are these figures coming and why is Prime Minister so confident? Now, is there a specific reason why he's so confident? What is it according to you, these claims made by PM Modi and the BJP?
First of all, I think that these are claims being made to effectively demoralize the opposition and to frighten the voters into thinking that, look, we need to get things done from the government for 5 years. There are all kinds of problems that come up every day in our lives: water, education, law and order. And who do we turn to but to the nearest, panchayat or nearest police post? So to be able to do that, we need to be on the right side of whichever government is in power. Now, if Mr. Modi keeps telling everyone that there is going to be no one else but us and we've got going to hold every seat, then the idea is to terrorize people into thinking that you have, in your best interest, forget your anger, forget your ideology, just do what is necessary to keep your family together for the next 5 years. And that is the tactic being used just now. You had a second question that you asked after that. Will you ask it again? And I will carry on.
Right. So you said that basically these tall claims made by the Prime Minister saying that, BJP will win 370 seats, they will win 400 plus seats. So you are saying that in a way, Prime Minister is trying to terrorize the voters, threaten them that, look, you have to vote for me.
It's not terrorizing. This is standard electoral tactics. What Mr. Modi has done is to put himself in a position where, with the combination of sheer rhetoric and, in a sense, image power on the one side, and the threat of ruthless use of police and laws that have amended and wiped out civil liberties, the combination of the invitation to vote for them and the threat of what will happen if you don't vote is what he's relying upon to win an overwhelming number of seats. So these are what you might call pressure tactics designed to disincentivize voters from voting for anyone else. The only way you can defeat tactic,
of course,
one more sentence. The only way you can defeat this tactic of Mr. Modi is if you offer something so powerfully enticing to the people of India that they say, Modi has been lying to us. Modi has promised us these things. He has not given them to us. Above all, jobs, which he promised 20 million and just forgot about.
But Mr. Jha,
But if you can give a convincing promise that, yes, we know how to create those jobs, you will get a huge sweep. And that will overwhelm anything that Mr. Modi says, because one thing is your real interest, how do you live the rest of your life in security? And the other one is, what kind of emotions can we have the luxury of indulging in?
But Mr. Chai, if you look at the kind of manifesto which the Congress has released, and many people were saying that, this manifesto is a game changer. They spoke about jobs. They spoke about Nari Nyay. I mean, looking at the women voters, they came out with a lot of things. Then they have said that they will ensure that the laws are in place for the freedom of press. Then they said Agniveer scheme, on which Modi government was criticized heavily, that will be recalled. Then a lot of other things will be overturned, which Modi government has tried to, destroy the nation in a way. That's what the Congress's manifesto very clearly says. It offers jobs, it offers solutions to price rise. Everything is there almost. So
I got it, Modi. I got it, Modi.
Yes. So no. So the question is that do you think that the opposition is really hopeful of winning the seats? It might not get a brute majority, but are we heading towards a coalition government, which we saw was formed in 2004, something on those lines?
First and foremost, if you are part of an India alliance, it was a mistake to have a separate Congress manifesto.
Okay.
This is an electoral blunder of first order. Second, if you look at the contents of the manifesto itself, they are all very, very good. They are all part of what I would want. They are part of what the Nehruites, the people old enough to have taken part, to have been a part of the idealism of our first years of independence, want. We certainly want all this. But the question is, today, this is not sufficient. People need a livelihood for the future. 83.2% of the youth between 18 and 30 have no jobs between 16 and 30. There are 450 million people who have given up looking for jobs. They're in desperation. They're hanging on to their, dividing the little bit of that there is from their farms and so on. They work harder and harder on the farms, growing vegetables, because that is somewhere where they have free labor and it also gives you good returns. That kind of thing. It's a desperate struggle to survive in an extremely insecure world. Ask yourself if you're 26, 27, 28 years old. My parents want me to get married. All right. I can get married and bring a bride to the home. How do I feed her? Suppose we want to leave the family. Suppose that the joint family splits up. Where do we go? What do we do for our children? There are no answers to these. There's only one answer that anyone wants. Find me a job which is secure and which I can do. Now there's another problem. 42,000 so-called affiliated colleges were opened during the last 10 years, attached to universities, a privatization of education, higher education on a massive scale. The Skill India report says that more than half of the people who have come out of these colleges have not got the knowledge to do any kind of job in modern India, any kind of job. But they do have the technical and the marketing and other knowledge to start industries in the villages. You need to shift the focus of industrialization.
Right. But Mr. Jha,
please, may I finish?
Right.
May I finish? You need to move the focus of industrialization from cities to the villages.
But Mr. Jha, of course, this is the situation what you just held out. But the coming to the political question, that do you think that opposition really has the potential right now to spring back to power? That's the question. If not Modi or if not BJP, then who else will form the government? Are we heading towards a scenario like that?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and there's an answer in two parts. First, I am not a dreamer. The most I hope for today is that the BJP by itself gets not much more than 200, 220 seats, so that they have to have a number of parties with them. And if there are 3 or 4 major parties that they have to join up with, then the possibility, the direction in which Modi is taking us, which is towards the total destruction of the democratic system and the creation of a ruthless autarky, that will be stopped. Because were that to happen, India would break up immediately. The whole of the South would go, the whole of the Northeast would go. And that would be the end of India. So to me, my limited objective is that we should be able to keep the BJP down to not more than, say, 220 seats. Now, I think this is feasible. But it is feasible if you give...
So what you're saying, of 220 seats...
Can't I just finish? Please.
Okay.
Can't I just finish? It is feasible only if you offer the youth of India a future. Remember, in 2014, 42% of the youth of India voted for Modi against their average vote of 20% for in the rest of the country. That is what brought him to power. The same people, in spite of his not fulfilling his immediate promises, said, we'll give him a second chance. Then there was Pulwama. They voted even more for him. In the meantime, the opposition had not got together, had nothing to offer. No unity and no program. Today, the opposition is united. It needs just this one additional component in their program. We will provide the jobs you need for a secure future, and there will be the reduction, if not more, of the BJP vote, which will save democracy. I'm 85. I want to see 5 more years of democracy established, before I die. Right. That's really all I'm looking at. I don't have a particular grudge against Modi, although I'm fully aware of all the things that he did in Ahmedabad and all the things he's doing now. But he is the Prime Minister.
Right.
Provided he rules by the law, I will follow.
Right. But Mr. Jha, like a few months back, there was a feeling, or there was a perception rather, that, this 2024 holds nothing for the opposition. It's a lost battle for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In fact, till day, people say that, there is no battle actually in 2024, and inevitably BJP will come back to power. Now, the seats could be limited. They might not get a brute majority, but definitely BJP is coming back to power. So if this is the case, where do you see Prime Minister Modi and where do you see the opposition? Because Prime Minister Narendra Modi, if you remember, last time when he was making a speech in Parliament, he said that the opposition will be seen in the spectators' gallery. That is what his speech said.
9/10 of the Congress manifesto is an attack on what Modi has done, without saying what we will do. I mean, it's not enough to say we will improve the justice system, we will bring the police in control. Even that is not said. All that they've said is, okay, Modi gave you a handout, we're going to give you a bigger handout. 1 lakh per woman, in an unemployed family. Now, the handouts are not going. If there's a competition of handouts, then India is doomed, because India needs investment for those jobs. The real problem is there aren't any jobs. If you cannot tackle this, if you cannot make a promise which is halfway credible, you won't get the votes. There is nothing positive in the Congress manifesto. Nothing positive. It's just, all these are wrong and we will fix them. But that's not enough. Believe you me, that's enough. People are living with those wrongs because they don't affect them. It's you and I, it's Lutyens Delhi. I am afraid of something happening to me. My phone was attacked by Pegasus, not that of some villager in the thing. So it is really us. I am not worried about what happens to us. I only want the people to be sure that there are jobs for them, and that they will be able to live secure lives, secure jobs, get married and live the life that we take for granted for ourselves. Right. And that is possible. That is possible.
Right. So
except that no one is doing it in the opposition yet. I hope they will do it. There is still time.
Right. But so if you remember 22nd January, when the day when Ram Temple was inaugurated, and people all across, and in fact, BJP was also trying to push it as the big agenda before 2024 elections, but that campaign actually mellowed down. It lost the momentum, and somewhere other issues had overtaken. And of course, not to miss the big verdict on the electoral bonds. Then you have this elections of the Chandigarh mayor, where Supreme Court tried to undo the wrongs done by the BJP government. So do you think that these issues now will really overtake other issues with BJP's divisive agenda and polarizing tactics? Now, these issues have come on the forefront. People have started talking about how Chandigarh election was almost rigged. People have started talking about this electoral bonds that, BJP used to say, na khaunga, na khane dunga. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said all of this. And now here you see a government which is neck deep into corruption. People are trying to build the link, between the corporates and the kind of money which has exchanged. And all this was done in a very legal manner. And the Prime Minister, in fact, in one of the interviews recently, he said that the electoral bonds, there was nothing wrong in it. And we brought electoral bonds to bring in transparency. And people who are opposing electoral bonds, will regret one day. So what does one say now?
Well, on the last point that you raised, I'm afraid that I think the electoral bonds, the really wrong thing about the electoral bonds was the fact that they were used after going after attacking companies on the grounds of tax evasion and saying, if you give us money, then we will spare you from prosecution. That is criminal. That is blackmail and criminal. So, but the point is, look, after all, elections were being fought before, and thousands of crores were being spent. Where were they coming from? The only difference between electoral bonds and what was happening before was that we did not know who was giving how much to whom, and the amounts were smaller, and they were much more widely spread, but they were still criminal. And in poor states like Bihar and Bengal, because you couldn't raise money in any other way, illegal methods came up like chit funds and reliance upon giant organized gangs like those of Shahabuddin and Taslimuddin. You saw UP. UP had something like 200 dacoit gangs when VP Singh moved in as chief minister and eliminated them in the most ruthless manner in 2 years. But he made UP investable. What's his name? The Bihar chief minister.
Nitish Kumar.
Yes, Nitish Kumar. Nitish Kumar did the same the first time he came to power. There were 47 dadas, including Shahabuddin, Taslimuddin, and so on. He got after all of them and put them in jail. He's a decent man. He didn't get them killed or anything. He just put them in jail. Many of them are still rotting there. So the point is, this issue is not the real issue is why in a country where the average constituency size is 6,000 square kilometers and you need 1,000 polling booths to do a decent job in each of these constituencies. Why is it that in this country of all countries, in spite of 3 commissions telling the Congress that you must have state funding, and the 2004 manifesto having in it state funding as one of its clauses, why is it that the Congress in 10 years did not bring in state funding? They have no moral right today to complain about the bonds. The moral right is the use of extreme, coercion and threats, financial threats, and the use of laws that have themselves become, the PMLA laws, which have become tyrannical in order to force people to give money to the BJP, even when they don't have any money to distribute to the shareholders. That is a true crime.
But sir, in your long career which you've had in journalism as a writer, as an author, have you ever seen bank accounts of political parties being frozen the way the Congress's bank accounts have been frozen just before the elections, just to stall their campaigning and so that they are not able to travel and all of this? Have you ever seen this before happening?
No, never. But you know why it's happening. It is because Mr. Modi is paranoid, and his paranoia has driven all the destruction of civil rights, which has made this possible, what that you're talking about, the freezing. The PMLA is the most monstrous law. The people who are running it the enforcement directorate, etc., they should be prosecuted if there's a change of government. I would personally argue for that over and over again, because they know the law. They know that they're breaking it. They know that they're breaking it at the behest of their prime minister, who's himself breaking the law. So the point is, and I'll give you an example. The first case that was brought under PMLA against political case was against Mrs. Gandhi and the 8 members of the company that had been formed, the National Herald Company. You remember, this was in 2015-16, and the enforcement directorate chief then went through all of it, the things, and then he stated that there is no evidence of corruption, and therefore he dismissed the case. Within 12 hours of his dismissing the case, he was sacked by Modi, and a man was brought in from Gujarat to be the enforcement director, who was then kept on and on and on after with extensions, until the issue was taken to the Supreme Court and shot down there, and the government was told, you have to change this man.
But you just spoke about
Modi does not respect any laws except those that suit him. He is the ultimate tyrant, and God help us if he comes back to power with the 300 seats that he wants, 350, which he can change the constitution, because we will be in exactly the same position then as Germany was when Hitler won the 1933 elections.
But Mr. Jha, what would you really say to the role of Supreme Court at this point of time? It does hold out a lot of hope, but you've seen recently what happened. About 600 lawyers, they wrote a letter to CJI Chandrachud saying that the integrity of the court is at risk, and this was in reference to the electoral bonds verdict which came out. People read it that these set of lawyers which were led by Harish Salve and the entire group of lawyers, they were trying to put some sort of pressure on CJI to slow walk on the electoral bonds. That's what the perception came out. So where do you see the judiciary, or will judiciary really intervene at this point of time, taking some suo motu actions? Because we do see judiciary rising on certain occasions. Chandigarh mayor elections is the biggest example of that. Then electoral bonds, the way it reprimanded SBI, that was also another example. So what would you really say to the judiciary at this point of time, when the government is really becoming tyrannical, in your words, as what you've just said?
I have now lost most of the respect I ever had for the judiciary. I lost that respect not on the electoral bonds issue, where some of it came back, but I lost that respect when Justice Khanwilkar destroyed two cases. One was the Tista Sitalwad, bringing back Begum Zafia Jaffrey's case, and the second was when he absolutely turned out 240, he negated 248 petitions, including, against the PMLA's extreme authoritarianism, including the 80 that were against 8 amendments that this government had itself made in 2019, which allowed it to seize any property at any time after the merest statement, after a mere statement that we're not satisfied with your finances, and then to hold the people in jail, in power, until they proved, to get bail, they had to prove their innocence. It reversed the burden of guilt.
So I think, sir, all